If you are worried about the dog lives.
That dog is a star. Indy, the dog, is the protagonist of Good Boy, a film that asks the question, you know how dogs are always the first one that know in a haunted house movie that something is amiss? What if the dog was the star of the film?
I feel like we need to give Indy our LA Film Critics Award this year for New Generation.
I was thinking at least special citation, yes.
Something, because that dog like hits his marks and emotes like in such a
subtle,
genuine way.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's great, and he happens to be the director's dog, so I guess that probably helps a lot.
Sure.
Acting alongside the human being that you know the best.
I guess I'm next. I should never have come here.
This is a first feature from Ben Leonberg. He co-wrote it along with Alex Cannon, and the dog is his dog. And yeah, it sounds like a gimmick. It's a horror movie from the perspective of the dog. But the way that he gets into that is constantly gripping and surprising and inventive in very minimal ways. It has to have been a very low budget production. And I think that Ben Leonberg accomplishes a lot with that furry superstar at the center. So yes, Todd is a human played by Shane Jensen. And he's ailing. We know he's not doing well from the very beginning. And so he takes Indy, his beloved golden retriever, to his grandfather's cabin in the woods to, I don't know, get away from the world, to heal, to, live out his days. Yeah. It's never really specified. And I kind of love the fact that there's only a couple of human beings here in this film. We never actually see their faces. We really do see a lot of it from the dog's perspective. And so it's a lot of low camera angles looking up. We're seeing things the way he would see them as he navigates the apartment or the house. So we see people like with, hoodies covering their head, or we see them in shadow. And I think that's a really cool touch to really put us in his mindset. Pretty quickly after we arrive at the cabin, Indy senses something. Something is amiss. There are noises. And I think the director really effectively uses like light and shadows and even like, brake lights on a car in the rain, pulling up to the cabin, just really small, subtle touches that all add up to a lot as far as atmosphere goes. And so we're just sort of following along the mystery along with the dog. Like, what happened in this cabin? Who lived there before? Is there another dog with a story to tell that's reaching out to Indy through the Rainbow Bridge? Like, who knows? But I was on edge the whole time. I don't know that it could sustain itself much longer than it does. It's only 73 minutes long, and that feels like just about the right amount. But every minute counts, and there's danger, and there's suspense, and there's legitimate emotion. It's very, very heart-wrenching. But I got to tell you, though, the dog is fine.
Yes.
If you are worried about the dog lives. The dog is in danger sometimes and whimpers in fear sometimes. So if that even bothers you, just FYI, that's there. But Indy is a hero, and Indy's going to be okay.
Yeah, this is, I think, it's the kind of thing where you could take this idea like, well, you could get a short out of that, but no, they do maintain it as it's a relatively short feature, but nonetheless, I think it keeps you engrossed and sort of on edge the whole time. It is. I think if people are thinking it's completely the dog's POV, that's not quite the case, mainly because like we can read the screens on people's smartphones. We understand what the people are saying. It's not just blah, blah, ginger,
Wah, wah.
Exactly. But all the same, it is very much about the dog is centered, and it is the dog's sort of understanding of his surroundings and that kind of thing, and his sense of things being amiss when his human might not notice that Ben Leonberg is really kind of playing with here. But yeah, it sounds like a gimmick, but it is a genuinely effective way to tell this story. And I was holding my breath for big chunks of it. And I think having a dog protagonist also means you are spared a lot of exposition dumps that you might get in a horror movie. No one takes him aside and says, well, with the legend of the old Miller place, like there's the dog could give a shit, So this is there's a lot of chutzpah I think in making a movie around your dog, but obviously, he knew what he was dealing with, and he knew that his dog could make it work, and it very much does.
Yeah, I feel like they play with the sense of the supernatural just enough.
Yeah.
Like it is rooted in this very realistic setting, this cabin in the woods. There's like one other neighbor that the main guy talks to, but you get a lingering sense of things that are down hallways, and there's the use of television, like what's on the screens is very clever as far as like why the dog has his name, if you're paying attention, or there's old videos of the person who had lived in this house before. And at one point, like you see the guy in the chair kind of like look around a corner, and like that points our attention down that hallway. So Indy's looking down there too. So it's almost like the video is interacting with real life, and whether that's true or not, it gives you a heightened sense of like the possible.
And that's indie horror legend Larry Fessenden playing the late grandfather on the videos, which is a nice shout out. Yeah, I think this is, you know, this is a very kind of meticulously arranged Rube Goldberg device to have a horror movie with this dog at the center, but they have crafted one, and I'm really impressed with the results, especially for a first feature.
Yeah, for sure. Because you had to think like, okay, a lot of it exists here in the editing, right?
Yeah.
As you say, they built it in the edit to have Indy react to certain things in a certain way that feels organic, you know, but isn't really, you know, they're piecing it together. The tail is wagging the dog.
As it were.
Right?
No, I mean, pretty much they will tell you that any great performance by an animal or a child is assembled in the editing room.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was still assembled.
Yeah, very, very well done. And, you know, very lovely toward the end, very poignant toward the end. So if you are a dog person, this will probably get to you, but in all the right ways, all the right feels. So
you couldn't make this movie with a
that.
cat because they don't give a shit.
The cat would not show up on time.
Whatever.
Right? You're late for your call, Star Cat. But the dog is eager to please and so sweet. So I recommend this really highly. This is, you know, kind of like the movie Skinamarink, which Bibbs came on here and reviewed with me, in that it's a very quiet and still horror movie where you're kind of like leaning forward to see what you can see down the dark hallways, and you can't quite make it out, but it's unsettling to know that something is out there. So he achieves a lot with a little here in this film. So I will say like an 8.3. This is good.
That's exactly where I was, 8.3 for sure.
Okay, if you're a dog person or if you're not a dog person, go see Good Boy. He's the best boy.
So good.